Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Mitzi, and this week we're gonna steer away from the makeup tutorials and do like a life-ish kind of like what my plan is and like how I want to help you guys. So I'm a junior in college, which means that this upcoming summer I will be taking the MCAT. I know, like, for me, when I was like starting to figure out like when I wanted to take the MCAT, how I should study for it, I didn't really find many like resources that like instructed me, like held my hand through how to study for the MCAT, what I should be doing. So I figured that would be like a fun video for me to do for y'all. If I can help anyone any way that I can with this nerve-wracking time, I would definitely do so. Without further ado, I'm just gonna let y'all know how I'm studying for the MCAT, and then y'all can pick and choose what you want to like take from this video and adapt it to your schedule. If you use any part of like my study plan or just follow along with me and works out, just let me know. You can message me or comment down below what you got. Yeah, so let's just get right on into it. So to start, I am taking the MCAT May 19th. So today is January 20th. So I have a little less than 4 months until the MCAT. I actually started studying, and I know it's like really extra, but I started studying in December over a winter break between like fall and spring semester of my junior year. I know not everyone has 6 months to study for the exam. I just figured that, for college and my classes, I'm always like, okay, like I only need the week before the exam to cram, and then we take the test, get an A, keep it moving. But obviously the MCAT is so far from that. So I figured this exam is really going to take like me really pushing myself to study like consistently, progressively, and not just like the week before and hope to get like a 520. So I purchased the Kaplan like 7 subject book set from Amazon, and on the website for Kaplan they actually provide like a 3-month like study plan. And so what I did was took that study plan and I typed it up into a Google spreadsheet of like what subject we're covering each day, what day we're covering it, and used that study plan as like a guideline for me to kind of abide by the study plan, but also like morph it into something that works best for me. And also, since the Kaplan plan was a 3-month plan and I am studying for about 6 months, what they cover in like 1 week is like 2 chapters, and I can cover 1 chapter each week, each section, and not feel like, oh, I'm pressured and like I don't have time to study for this, I have to skip this day because I have some class that I'm studying for. So that's my first recommendation, is the Kaplan MCAT 7 subject book, and then using the 3-month study plan, and then critiquing it to like what you think your schedule could handle and in the time span that you have. Another thing that I did with my MCAT schedule and my books was I decided to take classes that would apply and help me for the MCAT this semester leading up to May 19th. So this semester, the only classes that I have in person are MCAT classes. So biochemistry, physics 2 lab, and anatomy and physiology 2, which covers like about 3/4 to like 60% of the rest of the biology textbook past like chapter 3, because it's all like body systems. Since I've aligned my schedule with my MCAT study schedule, I can learn something in class, and then I can go to my MCAT book that week and study it. And so technically I've studied for the class and I've studied for the MCAT all in 1 week, kind of all at the same time, but I'm not losing any additional time to, studying for like a random Spanish class. That's another thing that will kind of like tweak your MCAT schedule as opposed to, following strictly the Kaplan plan. It's because like in my anatomy class, we're about to be on the cardiovascular system. So last week I read the cardiovascular system. And so when we go into it, then I can, ask the professor any additional questions that I have from my MCAT test preparation or just from lectures. And then, I can become really good at the content that I'm studying, because not only will I need to know it well for an exam that I'll have, but also for the MCAT. So that's like killing two birds with one stone. I'm like a really, like academically organized person, not so much like home and chores. But for when it comes to like school and whatnot, I like to make lists. I love my planner and everything. So in my planner, it's like, big staple $20 planner. And then I have 4 note cards like in the front of my planner. So one of them is office hours for my physics class and my anatomy class, because like I said, you can literally take anything that you learned in your lecture, read upon it in your MCAT book, and if anything confuses you, you go and ask the professor, and then you can get to know them, they can get to know you and stuff like that. My second note card is my MCAT weekly schedule. So it has Sunday through Saturday what I'm studying each day. Something different that I'm doing compared to the Kaplan study plan is that they advise like each day besides like Saturday you study one of their subject books. And I actually have put the CARS subject book and the like behavioral sciences subject book kind of like on the back burner for now, because I feel like I held the like basic sciences like the physics and the biochem more highly than the behavioral sciences, which I know it's like a section in itself on the MCAT. So for the first 3 months, 2-3 months that I have, I'm doing strictly those sciences, and then once I finish each chapter and each subject book, then I'm going to go back and do my verbal CARS and my behavioral sciences studying. I also bought the MCAT flashcards, the Kaplan MCAT flashcards. So once I get through my first round of reading, learning all the content in the MCAT books, then I'm going to take these bad boys, and study those. And for studying for the MCAT, I, read through initially each chapter and then underline anything that I think is pertinent information. And then I'll go through and write on my note cards, all the information about a certain topic. So let's say I'm studying the cardiovascular system and the whole blood pH buffer system. So I'll take my note card and write the formula, or write blood buffer system, and on the back I'll put the equation, what can happen if the reaction doesn't work, what can happen if someone hyperventilates, and actually this is my nerdy part coming out. So I actually try to have a little fun with my note cards. So each chapter that I do is a different color. So this is a pile of my biochem note cards. So as you can see, I had a little fun with them. So there's white, orange, hot pink, and a yellowish green. So having it color coordinated actually really helps me to find what chapter I'm looking for some sort of information, because obviously I know chapter 1 is going to be white, or I know that chapter 3 is the orange. And another thing about me is yes, I have these flashcards as well, but sometimes flashcards aren't as comprehensive as you need them to be. They're great refreshers, but I know that my own note cards have all the characteristics of amino acids that I would ever need to know. I think making your own note cards also helps and saves you time, because as opposed to rereading the books and rereading some pages that have miscellaneous information, your note cards are yours, and you wrote down what you felt was important. My plan for my 6-month plan, we're in month 2. I've been studying for about 2 months now. I'm on week 6 or 7. I'm in week 6, and then starting Monday is the start of week 7, where I'm in chapter 7 in all of my books. So that should bring me to about February 25th. And so after February 25th, I'm going to be reading my note cards religiously, and doing lots of AAMC practice questions. And one tip that I read, I forget where I read it, I think it was on the Kaplan website or in their books, but it said that when you're doing practice questions, always read why you got an answer right, and don't just read the explanations for the questions that you got wrong. Because if you got a question right, you want to know why you got it right, because sometimes we guess and then we get the question right. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, I knew that, and you move on. But on the MCAT, you're not gonna know if you knew it until you get your score report. So I think that's pretty much my MCAT study plan. Let me know y'all's study plans or any advice that you have for me taking the MCAT. It's gonna be my first attempt, and I hope my only attempt. I'm really aiming for like a great score. Like, I'm hoping and praying, fingers crossed, that I could get like a 515. That is my goal score. If I get that score, y'all will have a video of me, opening my score and, pure raw reaction. But if I don't get that score, then I'll just retake it. But yeah, so that's the end of the video. It was nice, short, and sweet compared to my makeup tutorials. But, gotta be thorough. Yeah, so if you enjoyed this video, found it helpful, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching, and have a good day.